What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. So we're finally going to do this question and answer video that I said that we were going to do a while ago. And obviously this is my wife, Ashley.
Hey guys.
Which, yeah, that's her only role that she's had in any of my videos is saying, hey guys, in one video if you've actually seen it. Anyway, we're going to try to keep this video somewhat short and not ramble too much. And that'll probably be like impossible. So I've got my computer right here. With all of your guys' questions, which we got a lot. I appreciate you guys asking all the questions. We got like 70, so.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start going down the line and whatnot. All right, so our first question, was this your first rally playing in the sand versus gravel? What did we find most challenging about this race? So yeah, it definitely was the first one that was all sand. Where we live, it is kind of a pretty sandy area. So the kind of road conditions have always followed sand, more so than gravel. But this was all sand, so it was super frustrating because it was super loose. And it was actually like...
It was really soft.
Yeah, so it's like on the turns with the notes and stuff, you'd get like slippery or whatever. And it really was super slippery. But it wasn't so much like you'd go off, you just like couldn't do anything because the sand just bogs you down. And you have no acceleration and you can't really turn and you just kind of like snowplow forward. Yeah. So that was super frustrating, and that was probably the most challenging part, is just getting used to the sand. And you really have to maintain a lot of momentum throughout the turns, especially when you have a low horsepower car. That's probably like one of the more senior guys said, the scrutineer actually, is like that rally is probably one of the only rallies in America that you can't have enough power type of thing. Like you use all of your power that you have. So yeah, 150 horsepower in the Subaru at its peak, like when it was actually running well for the first half.
Before it broke.
Yeah, before it broke. That definitely wasn't really enough, but it was definitely plenty to have fun in a lot of the areas. Just, you really need to maintain a lot more momentum. All right, so next question that we got, as for questions, I'm looking for getting into co-driving, but I don't know where to start, so any advice would be appreciated. Beyond the pace notes, there seems to be a lot of documents, route book, time cards, etc. And scheduling that the co-driver is responsible for. Is it that stressful, or am I overthinking things? It was a learning experience for both of us. Yeah. I mean, we kind of went slow. We learned a lot through the Team O'Neill videos. And I think they helped her out a lot.
Yeah, before the rally, I actually really didn't look into it too much. I had no idea about the tulips, which I would recommend looking into that. It's not hard for most people. I just didn't get it. Also, it would be wise to take a look at a time card and kind of see how that's laid out. But they went over it with us at the novice meeting, but I don't think they do that at every rally.
Yeah, it's not normally something that they do at every rally, but they did it at this one. And it was just a brief orientation of like, here's what stage notes look like, here's what route cards look like, here's what a time control looks like, and how you actually do the math and figure that out. Which
was helpful because I hadn't looked into that, so I had
some of that stuff was new, and some of it they didn't really talk about in the Team O'Neill videos, but they do talk a lot about it in a lot of the Team O'Neill videos, and like how stage notes are ran, and how a rally is ran in general. So those are definitely worth checking out if you've never done one before and you're going to the first time.
And I would study the symbols of the rally notes. I did put a lot of time into that. I studied what the symbols meant, kind of talked them out. We would drive around every once in a while and kind of practice while we were driving. But get familiar with that, because that is all the pace notes are. So if you get stuck because you don't remember what something says and it's something super important, it will mess the driver up. So I would just look into that mainly over anything else, because everything else you'll get as you go.
If you guys are interested, let us know. We'll throw a video together about that. So the next question that we have, which we have a friend, we've got a few cats that are running around here, is, it looked like you guys were moving pretty quick. What was your fastest that you actually went? So I think we hit like almost 90, it was like 89 or something like that. Which, it was a pretty narrow section of the road, and I definitely could have gone faster. I was kind of topped out in fourth, and I didn't really want to shift into fifth, and I definitely could have gone faster. Next question, how much does the whole build cost? So that'll be a whole video just adding up receipts. I kind of have a general idea, and I don't even want to like finish that, because it's going to be a depressing subject. Yeah, you won't be able to watch that video. Next question, how did I actually get the knowledge to work on and build the rally car? How do I accumulate the tools? What happened to the EJ207? And you plan on painting the Subaru? So start off, I've been working on cars since I was like 12 with my dad. Just slowly learning more stuff. I learned a lot from people that I know, and a lot from the internet as well.
It's always looking up new stuff, reading about it.
The internet honestly, there's so much information out there from people that have done it before. So it's a lot easier than it would have been to do this 20 years ago, where you actually have to figure it all out and have like a printed rule book and go line by line. That would have been awful. And same thing with the tools. I mean, I've been buying tools since I started working on my own cars. So pretty much since I was like 18, 16, 18-ish, I've been buying tools. I tried to buy nicer tools because it's better to buy the expensive tools and the tools that are more important, like in the nicer brands, than it is to just go to Harbor Freight and get something that's going to break. But
although we do like Harbor Freight.
I do like Harbor Freight for the simple stuff, but yeah. I mean, there comes a time when like you're buying stuff that you shouldn't buy tools from them just because you save a couple $100, because you'll just have to buy it 2 or 3 times after that. Yeah. The turbo motor, ended up pulling a swap and selling it to help like fund the build. And I didn't want to have the turbo motor for the first rallies that we were going to because they're not as reliable and too much power for my novice driving skills to handle, I think. So next question is, what app do we use on the tablet as like a rally trip computer? Which we had a Android Galaxy, I don't know which one it was, just something cheap with a GPS, so it has to have at least GPS. Any Android tablet can run it, but it's called Rally Trip Meter. It's pretty accurate. It worked really well.
It was super helpful. Honestly, I couldn't have done most of the stuff with the notes without it.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is like resetting the odometer every time before you start, which that can go into like the co-driver class if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, there was a time where it definitely saved us in a rally because they last minute took out a mile of the stage. So
yeah, and if you ever get lost on the notes, you have like your mile markers on the left-hand side of like where those should be. So if you ever get lost, you can literally just be like, okay, and that trip computer goes to like 100th of a mile rather than like an odometer that goes
really
to 10.
accurate.
Yeah, so you can get right back on your notes right away. All right, we'll try to keep going through, answer some of these questions pretty quick. What engine do we have in the car? The stock EJ251 with like cams and exhaust and intake. That's about it. Horsepower of it, I don't know, probably around 150 to 160 wheel horsepower at most, probably less than that. Next question, did your wife find the hole in the tissue box?
I did. I found it the next day and I didn't know what happened, and I just, one of those things, I forgot to ask him about it, and a couple weeks later I was like, why is there a hole in my tissue box?
Yeah, she eventually realized when I was around and asked me, and was just more confused.
I just looked at it and was like, huh, that's interesting.
Which, if you didn't watch that video, I used it as a template to build the front rocker boxes. Next one, what was the tire strategy in a standy situation like that? Honestly,
we pour.
Yeah, we pour, and we didn't have multiple tire choices, so I was using my Zestino tires that I've had for a while, and they've done a lot of rally crosses, but they actually held up really well.
Especially for the sand.
Yeah, they were super cheap when I bought them, and I only have one set. I brought my winter tires as a spare, because that's all I have and all I can afford. Eventually I'll have multiple wheels. Are you planning to go to Europe for rallies? I'd love to. That'd be cool one day.
Awesome.
We've talked about that, but need to like get successful on YouTube or something like that so I can not go to my real job anymore. How did I get into cars? Same thing, like my dad was super into cars growing up. We went to car shows all the time. He really wasn't into like motorsports or anything like that, but I just naturally became interested in them from playing like video games as a kid, honestly, like doing rallies and video games and always wanting to do that kind of crazy stuff, and eventually I got to do it on my own. Next question, did we make some sort of skid plate? So we ended up going with a primitive rally, or primitive racing, I think is the name. Skid plate, it was pretty cheap. It's a lot easier to buy some stuff than to fabricate it. I'd recommend going through them, especially if you don't have the means to fabricate anything yourself. Next one, which actually he asked quite a few questions. Who would I love to be sponsored by one day? Anyone.
Literally anyone.
I would even, especially Domino's, I would love to be sponsored by Domino's, the local Domino's.
We keep their electric bill on.
Yeah, especially when I'm working in the garage.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, anybody. It'd be awesome to be like sponsored by Subaru. Like maybe I'll be a Subaru driver one day because I'm so great at driving.
I could see it.
No. Dream rally car, another one that he asked as a dream rally car. So I don't really know. I've been kicking around ideas maybe of building some crazy rally car one day, maybe like a Datsun or something, but we'll see.
Which we have in the driveway, so
well,
you
not
have
that
to start.
One. I wouldn't build a Z. I would build probably like a 510 or something. Yeah, I don't know. I got to think about that one a little more. Next one, did we get a practice run of the stage? No. So you don't get to see any with that rally. So normally when you actually run a normal rally, you'll get a recce run to confirm the notes and kind of like make changes and annotate anything.
Which would have been
here.
super helpful.
Yeah, it definitely would have.
Some of the cautions were...
Yeah, there was a lot of cautions that like didn't need to be cautions, and then there were cautions that were like, yeah, definitely a caution.
Underplayed too.
Same with stuff in the road that they didn't even say like existed that were probably from weather changes and stuff.
Yeah, like that awesome hole.
Yeah, there were some bad dips that we blasted going really fast that did not feel good. It definitely would help, but normally, especially if you're making your own notes, you'll get like one pass where you have to make your own notes, and then one pass as you're like confirming your notes. So usually a 2-pass recce. And then, is it hard to follow and listen to the notes while driving? It kind of is. But that's also because I'm like so focused on trying to drive and like do the correct things while I'm driving.
And there's a lot of notes to spit out too. Like we blacked a lot out because they give you a lot.
Definitely,
so there's a lot of information coming.
Yeah, it definitely helps to get rid of some of the information when you're new, because you definitely don't need everything that they're including in it.
Not at all.
But it is a lot to process for sure. Is the damage to the car more or less than expected? So it's more so than the fact that I thought that I was going to crash. So like because I didn't crash, it's more damage because I lost the bumper, it's broken, brake lines, stuff like that. But it's less because I kind of thought that I were going to crash. So that's good.
Which I kind of thought so too, especially after we saw we saw everybody crashing, and I just seemed like something that was happening.
Real feelings come out about my driving. What app did my wife and I use for timing? So that was the Rally Trip Meter app that we already talked about. The next rally that you plan on doing, so STPR in Pennsylvania, hopefully in September, is what we are going to do. And it is going to be an ARA rally, which was his next question. So hopefully I got to figure out everything I need to do to the car to get it to pass ARA tech, because it's different than NASA. NASA's kind of more lenient on certain things. Next question is kind of for you. It's from a girl that has a boyfriend that got her into racing. Would it be interesting to hear your perspective on this? That's what she said. How do you decide to get involved, and what's her experience so far? What are your plans for the future?
So when him and I first started dating, I didn't know much about cars either. He kind of spiked my interest in that, and he's taught me stuff along the way. After the stage rally, I'm more intrigued to learn more, especially the car broke down and I couldn't really help, which sucked. So I think getting involved with it and actually doing stuff and participating will give you the idea of whether you like it or not. I would recommend going to like a local rallycross, because we started out, we went to an autocross together and I was like, oh, this is fun, it's really cool. But then we went to a rallycross event and I was just blown away with how fun and addicting it was, and I wanted to do more. So we kept competing with rallycross, which led to the stage rally. I would recommend going to a local rallycross. You can go with pretty much any car and have fun, or spectate, or ride in someone else's car just to see if it's for you. It's not for everybody, but if you did like it, I think that you would get an idea. And rallycrosses are not expensive, so you wouldn't be out much. You and him can go and have a fun time with that. Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
There's kind of like a stigma that it's kind of a guy-only thing, but it definitely isn't, and a lot of that's on the guy in the situation to just bring him and make him feel included. That's like pretty important for the whole thing, because it's not like people there are like, oh no, girls can't do it. It's just that there's like a natural thing in people's mind that it's kind of a guy thing. Actually, at Rallycross, everyone was really excited that I was there. Yeah, because they want more girls to be there, because then it like opens up that, oh, girls can do this too. Which of course girls can do it too, because it's just driving a car on dirt. So I mean, and I grew up driving stick, so if you know how to drive clutch, like that'll help too. And you asked my future plans. I definitely intend on co-driving with him in the future. I had so much fun co-driving. I'm definitely addicted to it. Driving would be fun at some point, but I really did like reading the notes, so I intend on keep doing that. So we're going to try to not ramble as much. We've been rambling a lot, and we don't want to make this video too long. But you guys did ask a lot of questions, so appreciate it. Next one, how good were the stage notes? They're pretty good. They were all made by someone else, so we didn't do it. We just show up, get the notes. We never saw the roads before. That's all we've done. Actually, in this big book here. Yeah, that's all stage notes. Which there were 9 stages, so that's 9 stages worth of notes. Have we done rally driver training? No, unless you count like rallycross school, novice school days. Yeah. I mean, rallycross in general kind of helps, but we've never done like official training like Team O'Neill or Dirtfish or the rally school, and I don't know what it is. Yeah, they're not cheap. I'd love to one day, but I definitely, to me, I would rather do 3 stage rallies than one 5-day long training course, which I'd probably get way more out of the training course to like get better at my skills.
But where we are right now,
yeah, and I mean, to be able to do 5 events is just a lot more fun for all of us, and that's like 5 events over like 2 years because they're kind of expensive. So we definitely don't have the money to go to an expensive school right now, but that would be awesome to one day go. Yep, it's our first ever rally, and I've never done 2-wheel drive on dirt. I've done plenty of 2-wheel drive racing on pavement with my Miata and other 2-wheel drive cars. So we did have some help servicing. My parents showed up to help out with the rally, which was awesome. And I also had a friend that showed up. It made it a lot easier because you definitely need assistance. You don't have to have assistance,
it took a lot of stress off of us.
Yeah, if you don't have any help to run a rally,
you're gonna wake up really early.
You're stressed out, you're up super early, and you're not gonna stop doing stuff the entire time.
And it's a really long day. Like, to have it broken up with some help, it made a big difference.
Yeah, and even like the fact that you finish, so you have to like, you finish the last stage and then you transit to the finish. Someone has to get your service rig out of service because like at 8:30 is when like service closes and everything's supposed to be out or whatever, but you're transiting to the finish, so
which still counts towards your time.
You have to get to the finish to complete the rally. So if you complete the rally, you'd have to do that, and then you'd have to like leave the finish to hurry up and like go get your truck, and then
it wasn't close. It was like 30 miles away. Yeah, it was like 30 miles away because it was convenient to like the center of the rally. So yeah, it would be really hard to do that without a service. The next one from the same person. You're in North Carolina. It must have been Teledragon. Actually, that's actually where my shirt is from that I'm wearing right now. It's kind of funny. Teledragon's a blast.
Yeah, we go out there quite regularly. We don't live very close, but we definitely like to go out there camping and stay near the Teledragon.
Which for anyone who doesn't know, I think how many? It's 100 and something.
It's like
113
turns and 11 miles. It's a lot of fun.
Very sharp turns, like a lot of fun on the side of a mountain.
There are a lot of fun roads around there that are actually more fun than the Teledragon. If you've ever been around there.
There's one called the Rattlesnake. That's a lot of
fun. The
fun.
Rattler or something.
Oh, Rattler,
like yeah. But it's definitely fun, but there's a lot of cops in there ready to give you a ticket or pull you over. So next one, does doing a full stage rally ruin rallycross? Like kind of how a track day compares to autocross on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard were you pushing? So I wouldn't say it ruins it because there's definitely a lot to be learned in rallycross. I mean, it'll get you consistent, get you a chance to like practice corners so you can figure out kind of what works.
I think they're 2 very different things too.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the same as autocross. I don't like autocross. I don't know if you can tell.
I get in trouble every time I go.
We don't really like it.
I get yelled at every time.
It's still fun to go, which is still great to go, especially if you've never done anything in your car. You should go for sure. It's great for that. There's just too many people there that take it way too seriously because it should be a fun atmosphere, kind of like rallycross is. Because rallycross it's a very laid back thing, and autocross there's too many people that are just taking those 38-second runs way too seriously.
30 miles per hour in a parking lot.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. They're different people, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that like it and have fun, and I think it is fun. Just our local area, the people that kind of run it kind of ruin it type of thing, just because they take it way too seriously, and we just go there to have fun, because like my Miata is in a class that it's not at all competitive in, so but it's still fun to go do.
And just to spend the day together. Like, we just want to go do car stuff together and have fun, which is what rallycross is. Rallycross is a blast, and everyone's typically very welcoming, very nice, wants to talk to you about your car, share their information with you. Like, it's just different.
Yeah.
And with rallycross, each run can be completely different because the person before you could have just made a whole bunch of new ruts, so it's not like the same thing every time too. So
anyway, we'll stop.
Yeah,
we'll get off our soapbox about autocross. But about how hard I was pushing, I don't know, probably like 7 out of 10. I wasn't pushing very hard just because, like, one, it would probably be really easy. Like, okay, I was driving at 7 out of 10, but my level probably isn't actually where I think my level is, type of thing, because everybody thinks they're a better driver than they are. So that's why I was like holding back so much.
And you wanted to feel it out for the first one too.
Yeah, we were going more for finishing, so
yeah,
there's a lot to improve on. Like, I was braking super early for corners. I wasn't like downshifting all the time and keeping it in the perfect RPM range.
Especially after the car broke.
Yeah, so it was more for fun, and I definitely look forward to doing other rallies to improve my skill and actually start pushing the car a little harder. This guy is kind of asking the same stuff. So we're using supplied notes because he asked what we're using. He also wanted to hear the notes being called. Definitely agree, which I had the GoPro. I had the GoPro set up, and I think I talked about in my last video that the GoPro failed. Mostly, it was probably like
I wanted to hear it too.
Yeah, it was a lot for what we were doing, but
yeah, next time for sure.
The only other experience that we have, obviously, is rallycross. So like we're talking about rallycross. So that's about it. Next one, are we running a stock ECU or standalone? So it is a stock ECU, but it's tunable. So I have Project Lambda software on it to where they actually cracked it. And you just use like an OBD2 Bluetooth port. And I can change quite a bit of the parameters on it, change ignition timing, fuel map, everything like that, injector duty cycle, and scaling for the injectors. So I can actually change it if I get bigger injectors and decide to run E85 and stuff like that. So I can change a lot of stuff with it. It's not as user-friendly at all as like Megasquirt or Haltech or like AEM or any of those. Definitely not. It's kind of more of like a ones and zeros type program where it's like 1 is on, 0 is off. Just like a normal computer program would be, like with Cisco or something like that. But it makes it a little bit more involved than a normal tuning software. There's no like auto tune like Megasquirt either. Next one, what's the car specs, weight, power, and what engine is in there? So it's, I don't know how much it weighs. It's probably around 2,800 pounds.
1,200 kilograms.
It's probably a little heavier than that. That'd be like stock. With a cage, it's a little different. I've never weighed it, but it's probably right around like 2,600 to 2,800 pounds. It's a pretty heavy thing. It's not light at all. I don't know if you can hear a cat right now. He's freaking out because of all the reflections from my computer. They're all chasing it. Oh, he's showing up now. Yeah. It's got the stock engine. Probably around 150 horsepower. Same thing. If I were to do another cage build, what would I do differently? So there are a few things, and I'll probably talk about it in another video where I can actually show specifically what I'm talking about. There's a few things like the A-pillar sport bars. I would definitely bend those out away from the cabin. So I just went straight with them, and I'd bend them out to make it a little easier to get in and out of the car and a little more clearance away from our hands. One other thing, I would definitely get the roof bars closer. I could have gotten about an inch closer to the roof, and I didn't because I removed the sunroof bracket, but I left it in there while I was doing the roof bars. So I got it like right up against those, but once I removed that bracket, it was like an inch that I could have moved them up. So that's a lot of clearance that I could have got for headroom. Because even with the thin SFI padding that I have right above it, I probably have only about 1/4 of an inch till my head touches. Really tight. So if I ever wanted to mess with my seat to like raise it up or anything like that, it would be an issue. This guy asked, do I need to build a car like this for stage rally, or could he take his 2014 Subaru Outback 6-speed with a light bar? No, you can't do that for stage rally. You can go to rallycrosses with that. That would definitely be a great car with rallycross. But stage rally, you need a full roll cage. You have to have all the safety equipment. It's definitely not something that they just let people jump into. At 740, why didn't I do a pendulum or handbrake turn? Because I'm not a good driver. Who is my navigator? My wife. But yeah, that's the last question. So hopefully this video wasn't too terribly long. It probably wasn't. I'm thinking at least 30 minutes.
I don't know. We really appreciate your support though. It's been awesome. The first rally was a blast. We hope to do more. Yeah,
wish we had gotten more footage of it for sure. And next time we definitely will. I'll get some huge memory cards too for them. The micro SDs that are like 128 gigs that are super expensive. But I think I'm gonna invest in some GoPro Hero 4s. Those seem like they're the answer.
If you guys want to know like stuff about rally notes specifically, I'd love to make a video for you guys, but just let me know what questions you have and I'll try to answer all of them for you. Yep. And we could do it together. I could talk about it as like the driver kind of perspective type of thing, you know, like what I can actually understand the first time out. Like what you could probably expect to. Obviously everyone's gonna recommend crossing off too. Yeah, obviously everyone's gonna have different things that they can process and be better at listening to while they're driving. So everyone kind of needs to know yourself type of thing. But I've always heard that like for the first few rallies you're kind of just driving what you see anyway, and then every once in a while you'll process notes as they're like saying them, and you'll like every once in a while notice and like actually do. I think at one point you're like, I didn't even hear anything you said. I was so proud of how I read them. There was, when the car was braking, I just told her I wasn't listening anymore because I was more focused on making sure that the engine was fine, and that I wasn't doing anything that was going to blow up the engine. And I wasn't driving to the point where I needed notes anyway because I was driving so slow. But she had fun calling the notes. I did. But yeah, that's all we've got. Appreciate you guys watching the video. If you made it this far, awesome. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Share it with your friends, yeah. Send all my videos to all your friends, and maybe we can get this channel to blow up one day. And all I can do is practice how to rally drive and make race cars one day. That would be awesome. But yeah, we'll see you guys in some more videos coming up soon. Hopefully when I get more time to start making them.